702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7.
And 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. You're on 702. Clement is not here. My name is Thabo Shole-Mashao. I'm thrilled to be with you to spend the next 3 hours discussing this, that, and the other. I look forward to your interactions. It's always a busy day in South Africa, as you might have heard from my colleague Bongani Pingwa in his show, morning breakfast show, that a lot is happening. Malusi Kikaba is bound to hand himself in. It is suspected or speculated, I should say, that it's got something to do with the locomotives procurement, but that is yet unclear. It will obviously be confirmed as the story develops. It looks as though quite a lot is going on. And of course, it's also been reported that Senzo Mchunu, who's on special leave, Minister of Police, should also hand in his gadgets very soon. That's very interesting. Those developments, I'm sure they will interest you greatly. I'd love to hear from you about all of that and more, especially on the open line. Generally, I want to dispense of everything else that we had prepared, because I'm sure there's quite a lot that is on your mind, and this is your opportunity to ventilate on those issues and more. The open line from 9 to 10 o'clock, and also on the open line much later on, we'll touch on some matters of gratitude. We want to understand, what is it that you feel grateful for? Clement has that as tradition that every Friday he opens the lines for Gratitude Friday. I think it's such a beautiful thing. We can't always be drowning in the mud, in the dust, in the cesspool of politics. I think every now and then we need to be cognizant of things that are happening around us that we are truly grateful for. So I look forward to your calls. 011-883-0702. That's where you can get hold of us. 011-883-0702. For your voice notes and your text messages, feel free to call 072-702 1702. You could have a view or two, March 12 o'clock. But for now, I would love to hear from you. The Malusi Kikaba matter on the table. The cards are starting to fall apart, and I would love to hear from you about that. But also, here's something that I came across yesterday. Nancy Pelosi. She's about 83, 85. Remember, she was short at some point. She used to be the Speaker of Congress in the U.S. She is a very formidable, sharp, and competent congresswoman. She knows what she's doing. She holds power to account. She holds the executive accountable. She's a Democrat in the U.S. I'm sure you know Nancy Pelosi. She's about 83, somewhere there, 83, 85. And the reason I'm talking about her and I'm bringing her up, she says she will quit Congress in 2 years' time, in the next elections. In 2 years' time, that's when she'll quit Congress. Batung, you should have quit 20 years ago. She is 85, 83, 85. Why is she still there? And she's talking about quitting, not now. She's not quitting now. She wants to quit in 2 years' time. African leaders come under serious scrutiny and criticism when they're holding on to office. And of course, this is something different. I understand she's Congresswoman, but that's a position of power. So it brings me to this. When is the right time for people to quit, especially if they occupy public office? If a bank wants to keep someone until they're 91, I don't have a problem with that. Let them do it. But public office, the Department of Education, the Department of Science and Technology, Energy, or any public department, I think people should be made to leave work round about 60, 65, somewhere there. You can't be there forever. by the way, including our politicians, those in parliament, including presidents, deputy presidents, ministers. Guys, you cannot be holding on to jobs and you are 75 years old. Let other people come in at that particular point. You can't be doing that. And I'm not an ageist at all because I'm growing myself. But when you are in public office, you must remember that you have no entitlement whatsoever. The space you occupy, earning taxpayers' salary, clearly you should be allowing someone to do the job, unless you want to tell us that you are indispensable. Why are we allowing our politicians to be 80 years old, 90 years old, and still in office? Yeah, the mind can be sharp. I agree. But let's all also agree, you are not as agile as you used to be. You are not in your 40s. You're not in your 50s. Dare I say you're not even in your 60s. Make the circle bigger. Allow others to come through, guys. Or am I just being too much? Let me know on 011-883-0702. Abel, the show has officially begun.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
011-883-0702, 011-883-0702. Just a quick recap. The former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba, you might have heard that is expected to appear in court over charges that are relating to procurement at Transnet. Some are speculating that it might have to do with the locomotives. That is yet to be confirmed. This morning, he said that he'd been informed by the NPA that he was asked to attend to court. He was asked to attend court, and there he will be formally charged in connection with the ongoing proceedings related to procurement activities at Transnet. And a lot will be happening in Transnet in the next few weeks. As you may know, some of the executives and top management have had cases being opened against them, and those will unfold in the news as days proceed in the next week or two. 011-883-0702. I'd love to hear from you. Mike, you're in Joburg. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm free, Mike. How's it going with you?
I'm good, thanks. I just wanted to ask someone, just talk about Nancy Pelosi for a little while. Nancy, as the Speaker of the House, which she was for a few years, meant she was third in line to the U.S. presidency. Did you know that?
Yeah, I do know that.
She was already in her 70s and also in her 80s at that point. The reason why, and the only reason why there's no criticism to such people in the world press is because she's white. It's a simple equation. That's why you'll find leaders in Africa who are older. President Ramaphosa is a fine example. Or even worse than that, Helen Ziller, who faces no criticisms whatsoever. She's in her 70s, and she should be long gone. She's still hanging on to fables about her time in apartheid South Africa, where she pretends that she was a real activist. These people need to go. They need to be replaced with younger, more free-thinking people.
Yeah.
And all Mandani is a slap in the face to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why have white people all over the world just condemning for no reason at all?
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Hold on. Before you go away, yes, Helen is 74, and she will be trying to become the mayor of Joburg. She'll be vying for the position of the mayor of Joburg next year. I suppose she'll be 75 or odd. So that's one. But help me understand, and I know that people will give me flack if I don't ask you about this. You are saying that the reason that Nancy Pelosi, Helen Zille, and others are not questioned about their age, it's because they are white. That's what you said, right?
I'm saying exactly that. I mean, when has anyone brought that up with Helen Zille?
Well, it was brought up, I think, a week or two ago. It was brought up about a number of people, including, I think it was from Bossa. It was brought up that she is old.
Bossa is irrelevant to a small little party that doesn't talk for anyone.
Yeah, but so you see, here's the thing. Mike, you can't have your cake and eat it. You said it was not brought up, and then when I say it was brought up, now you're shifting the goalpost. That's not the right way of arguing.
I'm just saying that both of them speak for me. And what I'm also finding is that you and...
and ANC, I'll say ANC doesn't speak for me, despite them having 40%, right? But that doesn't cut the cheese. It doesn't mean anything. If ANC says something, or even, I'm going too far if I say ANC, Patriotic Alliance, I'll say it doesn't speak for me at all. But what they say matters, nonetheless. And this is not about Bosa generally.
Bosa is just another name for the DA. Basically.
Okay, let's talk the principle. Let's not divert and digress and use Bosa as...
We will talk the principle. Yeah. Fine. She was asked the question, but it took so long for it to actually happen. She should have long been out of politics. Let's be honest about that. A lot of our leaders in the ANC or in the like should. I'm a proud EFF member. I know that my leadership is pretty young.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with
there's
that.
Mam Kaula as well in Parliament, I don't think you're off the hook that easily.
Sorry, who?
Mam Kaula in Parliament. The lady in Parliament from your EFF party? Yeah. Well, I don't think she's a spring chicken.
Is she in the leadership? No, she's not.
She's in Parliament. Nancy Pelosi is in Congress. Yes.
There's a reason for that. We need to be representative of all of all our constituents. So we will take from every part of it. But she's never going to be Speaker of the House. She's never going to be the President. She's never going to be a minister. It's true. Okay, so in short, you are saying that those who are a little bit over the hill as far as age is concerned must take a backseat. Let's say 60, that's when you should resign. Okay. Because you're just not in touch.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I share, believe it or not, I share your views. The only one that I wanted to interrogate was that we don't only speak about them. President Zuma has been attacked. It's been said he's an old man. He must just leave politics. You've heard about that.
No.
I'm sure you've heard about that.
I completely understand. When President Mandela came to office, he was already very much an old man.
Yeah, and he did the right things. Yes.
We understand that. But even Thabo Mbeki thereafter. Look, I'm no fan of what our older leadership has done in South Africa.
Yeah.
But I understand that there was a transition period that needed to be filled by older hands.
Yes.
Now that we're a more mature democracy, it's time for us to move and decide.
Yeah.
And not follow the Western world in their decrepit ways.
But lastly, quickly, Mike, speaking about the South African political context, a number of leaders would tell you, especially who come from the liberation movement, they would argue that they'd spent a number of their years fighting for freedom. Now that freedom is here, they want to enjoy some benefits of freedom, not just as an exercise of polity, but also the existential element thereof. They want to feel the financial, social, and other whims of freedom. Meaning that, like Smarts and Gonyama said, they didn't go into the struggle to suffer. They feel, a number of them actually, they're not going to say it, but they are saying we did not work enough to accumulate some pensions. We were fighting in struggle. Now that we have an opportunity to be in government, we are going to milk it for what it is.
I'm sympathetic to this argument. However, I don't think that. I think that the pension should show their status and what they've done for the community. So they should be paid well. They should have been given beautiful housing, whatever it might be. They should be exempt from taxes. All of these things. That's how we should reward them. But putting them into positions now where they are hurting the country is problematic, right?
011-883-0702. Mike, thanks for that, man. Mike in Joburg, 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go to your voice notes on 072-702-1702.
Thabo, the difference between Nancy Pelosi, who's 85, and African leaders who are in their 90s is they are dictators, they are despots, and they rule with an iron fist. Nancy is in a world democracy. She's very competent and she deserves to be there irrespective of her age. She might not be able to run, but the mind is still sharp as a razor. On the issue of counseling, I think we black men don't really like that idea. We don't believe it. That's why we suffer so much. This is Papla.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Thabo, good morning, man. It is such a rare occurrence that a former minister hands himself to the police. So we don't know what is at play, or is he playing politics? And I really wish other politicians could follow suit. And let's see how it will pan out. But yes, we need this. Thank you, Mr. Malusi Kikaba, for handing yourself over.
Hey, good morning, Thibo. I'm grateful for life, man. I'm grateful for life. You know, if you walk around, you look around, people are suffering. I'm grateful for that I can be able to put food on my table. I'm grateful, very, very grateful. You're speaking to Mketi here, Mketi Shakwane in Sebokeng. Thank you, it is a great show.
Oh man, Muketi, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. I'm happy. I'm happy that you sent that in, because at times we wait for that big car, you wait for that big house, you wait for that cushy job, you wait for tons and tons of money before you become grateful. And at times we lose sight of what's important, which is right in front of us. And in case you're wondering why we are talking about that, it's Gratitude Friday. Clement always touches on that. And so do we on this Friday. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, Papla, I take your call, I take your sentiments, and I take your thoughts. You are saying that the mind is still sharp, right? But if the agility of the body is compromised, will you be able to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning if a crisis hits the country? If you are needed to, the aches and pains, will you be able to handle so many flights, changing from this airport to the next, and really doing some grilling work? I don't think so. I suppose, well, even when the mind is very, very sharp, you can still compromise your country or your responsibilities by not being physically present. You can't always delegate. You can't always offer advice from the comfort of your bedroom. At times, you must wake up. You must be there. You must make things happen. And are you not going to be sleepy? Are you not going to be forgetful? Are you not going to be slower and hold things back? I think, honestly, people who stay beyond the age of 60, 70 are really selfish to a large extent. It's about them. And you think that every single person can be replaced. I know the Department of Education in Gauteng, for one, has issued a circular that has tried to attract those in that department to leave their jobs ahead of the pensionable age. And they're offering them, I think, lucrative sums of money and benefits and incentives to an extent where they're saying, if I'm not mistaken, every 3 you will be paid 50% of your salary for every month that you don't work for a period of a year, something like that. And those work for the Department of Education in Gauteng, please feel free to call in and correct me. But I know that there's a circular, I had sight of it, that is encouraging them to leave before pensionable age so that they can make room for younger teachers who are coming into the system and who do need experience and also save themselves some money. 011-883-0702, exactly 9:30.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
24 minutes to 10 o'clock. Thabo in for Clement. We're together till 12. 011-883-0702. I would love to hear from you. We've touched on a number of things, and I see that your text messages have been coming through. Let me do justice to them.
Thabo, I think these ministers, they are trying to avoid the humiliation that comes with being arrested. So they, for instance, go and say we're going to hand ourselves over. I think what's her name again? The former parliamentary speaker, she did the same thing. So they're probably exposed to some inside information that, oh, you're going to be arrested tomorrow, and they wake up and say, I'm going to hand myself over. I don't buy this handing myself over story.
Yeah, and that voice note, not text message, that voice note comes on the backdrop of us asking about Malusi Gigaba. If you've just tuned in, it is said that he will be handing himself over in connection with some issues at Transnet, procurement matters to be precise, and he will be handing himself over, former Minister Malusi Gigaba. 011-883-0702. James, you've been holding for quite some time. Thanks for your patience. Welcome.
Hi, Thabo. How are you?
I'm free, James. How are you?
Sure. Thabo, I don't think that, as far as politicians are concerned, you can just put a 60 years as a cut-off time. Look, I agree that the extreme cases, people like Didi Jordan, Helen Zille, Museveni, Paul Biya, and the list is long. Jacob Zuma, for instance. He has been there. He has done everything politics. What else is he going to do?
Yeah.
Those are extreme cases. But you cannot just say a cutoff is 60 years. Because, look, I think another thing, the previous caller talked about race being an issue. I agree to an extent, but for me, I think the issue is that in Africa, for instance, politics is only career that pays very well. And then young people want to go into politics very early because that's where there's money. That's where they're going to be given an opportunity to tender and be billionaires, over time. So for me, I think young people must just, after completing their degrees, they must be innovative. They must be creative and create companies, to understand. And then, maybe that way we'll be able to control,
Who's going to represent their interests in a political forum?
Look, it's not all youth go to companies, others don't go to politics. But this cry of young people wanting to go to politics is because of unemployment, Look, obviously there will be young people who will be in politics. And then, for instance, I don't think that a person must just complete a PhD at the age of 30-something and go into politics. It's a waste of
why not?
time.
Especially if perhaps your if your paper was on the Southern African political landscape post 1995 or whatever it is. I'm just coming up with this very stupid topic. I'm saying that it could be that your qualifications are streamlined to a political field.
Well, you're protected by the Constitution to go wherever you want.
I know, but we're expressing views here. Yeah.
No, I understand. But for me, I think when you do PhD, you're doing it so that you can be, a creative. You can come up with, you can develop the country. So going to politics with that kind of a qualification, for me, is a waste of time.
But here's the thing, James. Allow me to deposit something before you go, right? One might argue and sincerely express that it is very important for our politicians to be relatively young. You have the campaign trail, you have the rallies, you have all the festivities, you have grilling meetings that can go into the early hours of the morning. You must entertain also your networks, your sponsors, and your potential funders as well. You must be able to move around the country, if not beyond the country, and travel extensively. Do you think an 83-year-old is suitable to do all of that without somehow compromising any mission of any political party that they may be representing? Worse off if they're in public office, compromising both you and I. I mean, you know how many meetings are being postponed. You mean, I was listening to the news today, and they were just speaking about possibly when Bongani was speaking about the 10-year-olds who fall pregnant, which is another scary issue, by the way. And the president was mentioning that they are in good time, they will be passing legislation that I'm like, when is good time? It should have been done 20 years ago. But such is the nature when you have people who are old and tired, always postponing things to tomorrow, because they know that chances are tomorrow they may not be held accountable.
No, Thabo, look, I'm not nullifying that argument completely. Like, that is why I mentioned people like Didi Jordan and Helen Zille.
Yeah.
And all of them.
Interesting examples.
Yeah, those are extreme examples of people who are very selfish. I mean, Helen Zille, what is he going to offer? Didi Jordan, he's been there, and he's not. He overstayed. And then many of them, Paul Biya, so those extreme cases. But I'm just saying we must be careful of saying at the age of this age, 60, 61, 65.
I see. So case by
person
case.
must not be into politics. Yes, I mean, you can't. I mean,
But
really.
Helen is very
politics-
agile. Helen, to be honest, I mean, I'm not her fan at all. But she's agile. She's physically present and she moves around and she is agile. So if we are going to say that, you'd be contradicting your very own argument, because then we must allow Helen to skip the list that you've given.
Well, if people think she's agile, she can campaign. Maybe we shouldn't disqualify the question of age. I'm just making that
I hear you.
age of 74 as an extreme case.
Yeah.
I'm saying that people like that, especially Helen Zille, she's not a good example because she's been there before. You know, what else is she going to offer that she couldn't offer before?
I mean, you look at Museveni walking and you're thinking, bro, you should be with your grandchildren playing, messing around and giving them
but young
sweets.
But young people, Thabo.
Yeah.
Thabo, but young people must not look at politics.
What is young? What is young, James?
Well, let's use the South African benchmark of 35. You know, I mean, like, when you finish your degree at the age of 24, you are a very intelligent person, and then you are an MP. Okay, well, it's a good money. You will do well. But, you know, I would have thought that maybe the good thing that you want to do for your country is to, if you are maybe an engineer.
Yeah, but Julia said that age was already running
parents.
the country, and I'm saying that in inverted commas. Julius Malema at that age. Musi at that age was already a vocal person, and I think he was the leader of the opposition at that age. So all I'm saying is that there's also something to be said about it. Yeah.
There'll always be exception.
Sure.
There'll always be exception.
Sure.
But it shouldn't be, young people must not just go out and say, no, people at the age of 60, 65, they must retire.
Fair point. James, I really appreciated talking to you. 17 minutes to 10. Moshere, always lovely chatting to you. You are in Pretoria West. Hi, welcome.
Yes, Thabo. Look, man, Thabo, just quickly on the issue of age when it comes to politics. Thabo, we need young people who will take decisions that will really take our countries forward. If you look at Africa, some leaders they've been there for quite a number of years. But if you look at the development of those countries, there's nothing that is coming that really will benefit the young people. We need young blood, people who will look at the future and also innovative. Because they're making rules and legislation that is governing us. And when you look at labor, there's an age restriction that when you reach this certain age, you need to retire. Why can't we have the same thing with politics?
Exactly. As if it's rocket science, ne?
We need young people who will take decisions that will take the continent forward, not people who will want to remain in leadership saying that we have,
sure.
as you said,
but you didn't call about that. There's something that you called about.
Look, man, the issue of Pelosi is long overdue. We have been hearing or seeing a number of political figures who have been implicated or alleged to have participated in corruption.
Yeah.
But going as business as usual, where we don't see these people appearing in court, where the court will clear them. Most of them, they'll go and appeal until the case just... You look at the issue of Ishmael. When are we going to see people who have alleged to have participated in corruption appearing before court, where the court will clear them? Then they can come back to the society. If they need to, there's question to answer, and they happen to be found guilty, they need to be arrested like everybody else who are participating in corruption or also crime, who are in jail wearing orange overalls. Why can't we see these high-profile politicians also being arrested and like everybody else?
Moshere, interesting point. Here's an interesting text message that came on 0727021702. It says, hi Thabo, those old leaders do not put themselves in those positions. Someone does. People who are benefiting from putting them into those positions should be blamed, not them as such. Quite interesting take. I agree with it. And another text message says, with aging comes a lot of loneliness and fear. So I really do not blame that young at heart gentle lady. Let's allow her to soldier on. And coming from Badi, I am very much interested in what you have to say, and I'll just read some more text messages as we go on. But John has been holding for some time. Thanks for your patience, John. You're calling from Senton. Morning.
Good morning, Thabo.
Morning, sir.
No, look, Yeah, I've got two. There are two points here. Okay, the one is that this guy was just said that these guys don't put themselves into those positions. That's exactly the first point. Don't blame those guys. Blame yourselves because you put them in there. Okay, that's the negative side. Let's look on the positive side.
Who? Before we go to the positive, I just want to understand. Who put them there? When you're saying don't blame them, blame the people who put them there.
Pelosi did not put herself there. She was the Democrats voted, and then they decided that this is the lineup that goes into office. So that's what has happened. Okay,
I see.
We mustn't beat about the bush. It's us who put them there. So let's not blame them. So we have a mechanism to take them out.
Yeah, but you do know in South Africa it's a different context, right? People vote for a party, and individuals within the party are nominated on the party list. So general South Africans did not necessarily put Gwede Mantashe there.
Let's not vote for the party. It's as simple as that.
But how do you know who they are going to place there?
No. There are two things here. One, vote for a party, get 2/3 majority, change the constitution so that it doesn't work that way. That's the only way. If you have to be democratic, there's no other way.
Sure. And no party would want to do that currently because that is serving their interests to have this system. I mean, you saw how they fought up in arms. Parties who claim to be democratic in nature, they fought up in arms when the court declared that independence can also stand for the national and provincial elections. They did not support that legislation. Many parties didn't because it benefits them to stand as a party and not to have individuals messing up the system that they are so protecting.
But Thabo, with due respect, that's a defeatist attitude. So it means we are doomed. We cannot be right. We cannot. Yes.
It could also be devil's advocate that I'm playing, not necessarily defeatist.
I know.
Sure.
I know. But what I'm saying, that's a defeatist attitude.
Sure.
Surely we have it in our hands to change it, and in fact, we can get them impeached. We can do anything. You know, the system still allows that until we set up a system that is pro us. It's for us.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the negative side I was saying.
Yeah.
The positive side is that the country is heavily invested in Pelosi. They've spent money, time, and everything.
Yes.
Two. Okay, you must just hear me out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting to.
I have to go to a break, so please, I'll keep quiet for you to listen. Yeah.
Okay. So we're heavily invested in Pelosi. She must do her bit. If it means 150 years old, so be it, because we're putting it there, which is the sector. Now, let's look at this one now, which is very critical for South Africa, is that in South Africa, the youth don't understand that you need social mobility. I don't want Thabo's child to be doing what my great-grandfather did in 1926. That's where the Chinese will kill us, you see?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have social mobility, you must see the adult, okay, as a person, a mentor, somebody to learn from, so that I take it from where he is. I don't go 20 years back.
Yeah, we have to leave it at that. John, appreciate it. John from Sempton, 10 minutes to 10.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
7 minutes to 10 o'clock. Welcome back. Thabo in for Clement, together with you up until 12. Thanks for joining us. And if you have just done that, we have been touching on a number of issues, including the Malusi Kekaba matter, handing himself in over the Prasa matter. Also, we were chatting a little bit about Nancy Pelosi. She's about 83, 85, and she's about to she says she'll only resign in the next 2 years. She's been in politics or in that role of Congress for over 40 years. Over 40 years. And she says she'll only resign in the next 2 years. I thought she was calling it quits right away and saying, I've overstayed my welcome. That is too long. And some of you have made examples by some of our leaders. President Jacob Zuma, you can see the man is tired. Yes, he dances around, and yes, he jumps around. I've got respect for him like I do for everyone else and everyone else who's older at that age. But you wish at times he could just perhaps chill at home, have ice cream with grandkids, fetch them from theater school, crèche, and then take them home on the way, buy them pies or something, and attend their soccer matches. And he's not the only one. There are many in South Africa. When you look at Gwede Mantashe, you also wished, like, Baba, why don't you just chill, take the kids to school, and attend to some errands here and there on Saturdays, catch their basketball match or whatever it is. There are many. And I'm not picking on them because age is one thing that's very interesting. If we are lucky, all of us will end there. And I suppose, should I get to that age, I would also want some slack, right? But to be honest, you are not doing the country any favors if you're holding on to that position. There's someone more agile, more sharper, who could be occupying that space, younger, who could be occupying that space. Why is it that it's good enough for you as politicians to put up legislation as to when people should go and retire and place their pensionable age in our laws, but that those same laws are not applicable when it comes to your situation in Parliament? So we must be subjected to the laws that you put there, but you are not subjected to them. Guys, no. At the age of 75, I think you just need to be chilling a bit and saying, guys, I'm calling it quits. I'll run my own business. I'll be a consultant if you need to be a consultant and make money. But you can't be actively occupying public position, public office. That can be okay. You are denying us the freshness and agility of people who could make do with that particular position. 011-883-702. Abel, do you have some voice notes?
Morning. I'm wondering, it's a question on my side. Why does it seem like these high-profile people, when they get arrested, they don't actually get arrested? They just get informed that you must appear in court, there you'll be charged. Wherever it's ordinary folk like you and me, the police will come in their van and actually arrest us. How come the ordinary people are not given the same courtesy? Anyone can just lecture me on that one.
Good morning. Let's not be deceived by the fact that Malusi Gigaba handed himself in. It's politicking. They think we are stupid. We must listen to them and watch what they are doing and think we're going to vote for them. That's actually not correct. The next thing, just out of line, NHI. They want to push NHI so that they can loot. They must wait for elections, then the next government will decide what they do with NHI. Thank you. That's my name.
Well, I suppose we have to leave it at that. Interesting views. 3 minutes to 10 o'clock.